Hi, I'm Helen Norton, in case you don't know, an artist living in West Australia. And I wanted to do a little video of some of the paintings that I've got in an exhibition which is going to be opening, and by the time you watch this will be open, in Margaret River at the Jahroc Galleries. And the exhibition is titled Life's Contents. So what does that mean and why did I choose that? I've got a few things written on my blog, on my website at helennorton.com.au if you want to read, but I just thought I'd have a little chat and tell you a few things that went through my head as I was creating some of the larger pieces. This particular one, which is called He Only Needed a Few Friends, evolved very wobbly as I tried to work out what I wanted the painting to say. It ended up being a prize bull and my infamous little, or he's probably pretty famous, little outback man, or you know, farm man, whatever you want to call it, farmer, cattle station guy, which I've used as a symbol for decades, ever since I was in the northwest of Australia in the outback. And a couple of dogs, and there's always a few cockatoos floating around. And it started out with, this was another painting and I completely changed it because it just wasn't right. And I do that sometimes. And I was very comfortable with how everything was going in the layout. It's a classic layout, the waterhole scene. And I do like to use this theme, and more lately, because it actually represents something about where I feel I've arrived myself. It's very, I guess it's a metaphor, and I am a bit of a queen of metaphors. You know, there's a flourishing, huge amount of nature all around with animals popping out here and there and everywhere. It's my version of heaven. And that comes up again in the whole theme, that idea of Eden as being heaven. And Eden being like this raw place where man is still sort of like one of the animals. And it's a great story if you look into it and look at the metaphor and meaning in the story. And it kind of really works, especially at the moment, I feel, where we are almost saying to nature, you're not good enough, you can't fix this. And what about the tampering with nature that's going on? And that is where I guess this whole current drama with COVID, I don't even want to say the word, has come from, with this idea of manipulating viruses. I had a fabulous dream on this topic, which involved me watching scientists manipulate Mother Nature as if the mother in the dream, she was an actual archetypal figure, I guess a very archetypal mother image. And she was heavily pregnant, and she was in this operating room, and there were all these scientists, and they were in her belly and they were tweaking and pulling, and it was like all these electrical cables had been pulled out. It's not as gruesome as it sounds, but it was pretty awful, and I was very distressed to see them tampering with Mother Nature's natural processes. And it had many other symbols in the dream, which I might discuss a bit more in a blog and another video. But I guess these dreams that I have are always extremely visual, and they're like complete stories. And when I was doing my Jungian or depth psychology master's degree, I had to go through analysis with Jungian analysts, and one of the main analysts that worked with me said to me that he was always amazed by how complete my dream sequences were. They were complete stories. So I think that just comes down to me being a natural story maker or teller. So that's, I guess, my lot. That's why I call myself a narrative artist. I didn't set out to be, it just happened. So in this story, he only needs a few friends. I guess I feel like that myself. I think a lot of us do. We only need a few very special friends, and we have, you know, we can have lots of lovely acquaintances as well. who are kind of friends, you know, like what about your following on social media? They're friends in a way, but they're not your closest friends. So in this case, having dealt with and met a lot of these more solemn outback characters who are very in touch with the natural world and animals, very much so. They're not greenies or anything like that. They just live in that world and well, they prefer it. They prefer the company of predictable creatures. So in this, a story came to me as I was creating it, and it is a bit like that. I'll sometimes start with an intention and then the painting or the characters that evolve, they just evolve out of my imagination, I guess, but I'll put them in with one intention, and then once they get there they have some other thing in mind, and I go with that, and that's when I can paint my best work. When I try to construe things and, you know, construct the scenes and everything, it's always flat and I don't like it and never feel comfortable about the paintings. So even, you know, some of the characters that I put into my paintings, they just evolve out of shapes that have emerged from sort of more an abstract sort of underpainting. And in this particular story that came to me was this idea that I was going to call it He Lost His Horse. So somewhere in this painting is a lost horse. That's a little snippet that's not anywhere else, so you can do your best to try and find that horse. He's in here. I'm not telling you where. After I had that one little ingredient, which was like a kind of a mystery that I knew about, and it was almost like I almost wasn't going to tell anyone, that I could actually get on with the painting. It's almost like magic for me. As soon as I allow myself to be inside the story and then let the story, you know, take over me, I am happy painting. If it's not like that, I don't want to paint. It's just as simple as that. So this painting is 173 centimetres high by about 203 wide, a big one. And it is available in this exhibition.